Welcome to Morning Message for November the 5th. It's been years since I've watched the TV show The Simpsons with any regularity. But when it first came on, and probably for the first 10 years or so, I did rarely miss it. I almost always watched it. And one of my favorite episodes or segments in it was from one of the Halloween specials. It was the one where, for some reason, all of the giant mascots for various businesses, restaurants and stores and stuff like that, they came alive. And it was Lisa Simpson, who actually is my favorite character on the show. It was Lisa Simpson who realized that these were just advertisements, and that the best thing to do to disempower an advertisement is to ignore it. And so she finally got everybody to turn their backs on all these giant advertisements that had come to life and that were destroying everything. And when they did that, in fact, these advertisements lost their power and just started falling over because nobody was paying attention. 4 or 5 years ago, I felt the same way about Donald Trump. I felt as though what the news media and all of us needed to do was to ignore him, and he would lose his power, and he wouldn't have been elected President of the United States 4 years ago if we had the wisdom to have ignored him and everything he stands for. I know there's people who probably think that I hate Donald Trump. My faith doesn't allow me to hate people, and I don't mean that it's a rule and therefore I don't do it. What I mean is my faith, the faith that I carry around with me, doesn't permit me to hate people. I just can't find it in myself to do that. So I don't hate Donald Trump, but I do hate everything that he stands for. I hate his misogyny. I hate his white supremacy. I hate his lying. I hate his bullying. I hate all those sorts of things about him. But I can't find it in my power to hate him as an individual. And as I record this, we don't know the final outcome of the U.S. presidential election. Right now it looks like Biden might win, but we're not sure of that. Hopefully we'll find that out later today, and that afterwards everything will go smoothly. And I do think it would have been a wise strategy for us to have ignored Donald Trump 4 and 5 years ago. Well, we could go back further than that, to be honest about it. But I don't think we can ignore those things, because those things that he represents, that white supremacy, misogyny, etc., those are things that are very real in our world. And it's incumbent upon us, I think, as followers of Jesus Christ, to acknowledge that those things are present and to do what we can to educate people and help people understand how inappropriate that kind of behavior is. Because the problem that Donald Trump represents isn't one that is exclusive to the United States. We have people with that kind of misguided thinking here in Canada and, in fact, all around the world. And I think it's important for us to, and I think we're capable of doing this too, of distinguishing the person who is a child of God and loved by God and ought to be loved by us from what they might represent or their particular beliefs. And so we engage people in argument, in discourse, in education, and we try to help people to see the wisdom of equality, the wisdom of a fair democracy, the wisdom of fighting to help prevent the further damage caused by human beings in our environment. All sorts of things that we need to deal with, and we don't need the distraction of a bully in the White House. And so hopefully things will turn out all right at this election. But if they do, or if they don't, we have a sacred task in front of us, and that is to help people understand the importance of good public discourse, respectful discourse, and good, honest debate about things, using science, using our intelligence to find a way forward and out of the mess that we currently find ourselves in. Because I think human beings are capable of wise decisions. I think that's possible for us. That's my hope and prayer for us today, that wisdom begins to prevail in the public discourse, and that we make wise decisions to help us through the pandemic, to help us through climate change, to help us through dealing with the ignorance of white supremacy. I mean, that's particularly troubling for me, I must say. Next week is Remembrance Day, and we fought against white supremacy, against Nazi Germany, and yet we're able to distinguish between Nazism as it existed then and the German people as they are today. And that's my hope, that we're able to do that in the midst of the discourse today, that we don't find it in our psyche to hate people. We don't find it in our faith to hate people, but in fact to love people, and to love people towards a real sense of wisdom. So that's my hope and prayer for us today, that wisdom does indeed prevail. God bless.